Gemini, what's going down, Gemini? I am back with your April reading. Super excited to be here, spilling tea for you all. I hope you guys are all doing well, during this crazy ass time. Especially for y'all, I know that you guys are usually pretty extroverted, so I know a time like this is probably pretty hard for y'all. So I do hope that you guys are doing well. This is a Palo Santo incense, so I'm just smudging up here, getting ready to break out these cards. I've already smudged them once, but why not? Gemini, how you guys been? How y'all been? Like I said, I know you guys are usually pretty extroverted, so I hope that you guys are making the best of your time in the house. I hope y'all are not hitting up ex-girlfriends. I hope y'all are not hitting up ex-boyfriends. I hope y'all are behaving yourself because I know how Gemini can be. Let me stop playing like I don't love Geminis. I am actually a Venusian Gemini. My Venus is in Gemini. So I am familiar with that wind. I always say that, air signs, air, whatever. Gemini is wind. Y'all are crazy. Okay, crazy. All right. So we're going to pull a card for every element, and then we are also going to pull a card for a message from Spirit. Jeez, all right. Yep, yep. All right, bottom of the deck, you have the Page of Fire. So, with this card, energy around you is basically talking about you have a lot going on as far as getting shit done. You have a lot of passion. You guys always have a lot of confidence. You guys typically are not afraid to go out and do the things you want to do, date the people you want to date. You guys are not afraid to go the places that you want to go. The thing with that for you, Gemini, is sometimes you guys start something with a bunch of passion and you guys really have a lot of enthusiasm for a project, but you guys don't jump in wholeheartedly. You guys don't really take time to assess how long a project or a person or, a situation is really going to, how long it's going to last, how long you are invested for, and what the return on that is. Are you investing in something that's going to have a pretty high return? Are you wasting your time on something that, isn't really going to be beneficial to you later? Gemini, you guys have a tendency to get yourself into some really good shit and out of some really good shit just as quick. And you also have a tendency to get yourself just into any fucking thing, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and have a hard time getting yourself out. So with the Page of Fire, you guys just need to be mindful, of what you guys are getting yourself into. This card talks about journey, navigation, and roots. So this is basically saying, this could be particularly about traveling. Like I said, you guys go where you want to go. This could be saying, you can absolutely move around, you can travel, you can go do your thing, Corona willing. But also to do that with some sort of caution and to do it with a clear head. I understand that y'all can be overly confident sometimes and you really think that you can take the world on, and you can. A lot of y'all, one of my very good Gemini friends, shout out to Adrienne, she has moved across the country. She, has her little cute dog named Roscoe, and they live their best life, okay? Some people, they don't have it that good. Some Geminis can't just go chase a dream and make it happen. You know what I mean? So for some of you, you need to be mindful about strategically planning a way to get to where you want to be. Okay? First card out message from Spirit is Queen of Water. Longevity, commitment, and eternity. What did I just tell y'all? You guys have a really hard time jumping into something with both feet. You have a hard time really committing. You guys don't have a hard time starting a project, but you do have a hard time finishing it. Um, it's not wrong with that, I guess. I'm trying to be gentle with y'all because I can't drag y'all without therefore dragging myself. But I will say, Gemini, you guys have the ability to really start some solid shit. Do you want it for the long term or nah? Stop starting shit just to end it or cut it off. Stop dating people just to decide they're not it for you. Stop doing shit that doesn't really align with who you are and where you want to be, because at the end of the day, it doesn't push you any further in life. It doesn't get you to where you want to go any faster, and it essentially hurts the other person depending upon what the circumstances are. Now, if this has nothing to do with another person, by all means, this is all about you learning how to commit. Yeah, this is you in all the ways learning how to really cement something and how to do it, without thinking about just yourself. This is how to get yourself into some long-term shit that isn't going to bore you. It isn't going to make you scared and run away. It isn't going to, not work out in a couple of months because you've changed as a person or because you don't want the same things. You don't want to live in the same spot. So this is basically just saying, find what it is in this world that you can commit to. If you can't commit to a person, by all means, Adrienne got a whole dog that is her man. She take care of him. He take care of her. Like, you know what I mean? Find you something that you really can commit to, because if you don't, you are a danger to yourself. You are just out here wandering around with no sort of anchor. As you can see, just water in the bottom. There's no anchor there. You have a compass, so you can clearly navigate where you want to go, who you want to go there with, and what you want to do when you get there. But a measure of how long you want to stay, and can that person come back with you again, and all of those things, that's for a different discussion. What's going on in Earth? Empress. Hey. So in this deck, the Empress is actually the card of Virgo. I'm not mad at it. They gave it to my fellow sister sign, so that's cool. Curiosity, progress, perfection, beauty, and order. I feel like for a lot of you, since you are ruled by Mercury, you guys share a lot in common with Virgo. You guys are actually pretty similar when it comes to dissecting people, their appearance, their money, who they are as a human. Like, you guys are really good at taking a person the fuck apart. And you do look for perfection. You guys do seek, especially external perfection. You guys enjoy people who look good. You enjoy to look good yourselves. You also, you have certain requirements. We'll just say it that way. And with that, that's going to come a certain level of understanding that you pick people apart, because essentially you're picking yourself apart. It's not the other person that you're like, oh, like they nose, I don't like how that little baby hair swoop, like I don't like that. You are just finding other things to look for in yourself that you can pick apart. So before you get so caught up on, if it's a partner, what they look like and your version of perfection that you project onto them. Your house, I feel like a lot of you guys might be remodeling, rearranging, redecorating. You could see in the picture, homegirl is like whole ass, she got flowers hanging from the ceiling and it look organized in there. She got little books on the shelf and whatnot. Like, it looks like she's living a pretty fantastic life. She's just organizing, getting her life beautiful and creating. And the Empress is a card of Venus, right? So this is a card that talks about beauty all around you and beauty in all of the ways. So again, as some of you are redecorating, remodeling, rearranging, you guys are really trying to bring in as much beauty into your life as possible. But I feel like what Gemini might be missing, what is your version of perfection? What is your actual version of beauty? If you were to have to pick out of a lineup, if you were to have to choose from a color swatch, if you were going to have to stand in the Target aisle, whatever, what would you pick? Would you pick the one that's most aesthetically pleasing? Would you pick the one that is most cost effective? Would you pick the one that's in the middle of both? What would you pick? What is truly beautiful to you? Um, Back to this card before we move on. Progress also. When you think of beauty and the order of things around you, and you think of perfection, how does that make you progress in life? Is a woman, not to knock any woman who got big old titties and lashes and nails and shit, but if that's what's beautiful to you, how do you intend on committing to that? And are you down for the process of, like, you get fake titties, you gotta redo them hoes every 10 years. If your version of perfection is a fat bank account, you have to make sure, even during crazy times like this, you have a way or a partner or whoever, whatever, that can sustain that level of perfection, especially financially. People change, shit changes, as we can see. You're going to have to really dig into your version of beauty, and is it sustainable? Is it something that, you can live with for the rest of your life? I take it back to women only to say, if you're Gemini, if you're always looking at a person for who they are, what they have, especially physically, you're going to miss out on a great mother. You're going to miss out on an amazing wife. You are going to miss out on a capable business partner. You are going to miss out on a dope ass friend. You are going to miss out on so much shit trying to point out and trying to make shit perfect. You're never going to progress. So in the physical, I need you to really check that and really look at that, okay? And to completely counter progression, we're gonna come up with our next card, which is Seven of Earth. This card is procrastination, delay, and destruction. So I feel like for some of you who really do intend to bring in true partnership, or who really do intend to bring in, beauty in whatever facet that may come in, you need to also understand the only reason you're seeking pretty, shiny, beautiful shit is because you don't really want to look at the ugly, the hard, the dirty, the skeleton shit that's in your closet. This bird is trapped in a net, okay? You don't want to see that. You just want to see the teapots and all the other shit that are sitting back there. But you have to also understand that the things that keep you slave to beauty, to status, or whatever, those things that you demand be perfect are the exact things that are keeping you blocked. They are challenges that keep you delayed because you are unable to bring in, I don't know if y'all can hear that. That was my whole stomach. I am so hungry. Oh my gosh. But these are the things that keep you blocked. These are the things that have you stuck and have you trapped, because if you look at how the cards are set up, this bird is looking at her like, yo, sis, you see me over here on your bookshelf with all your tea cups and all this shit? I'm actually over here hella trapped. And if you look here, which is crazy because I just saw that, this is your spirit card with a bird right here. These birds are trying to have a conversation. These birds are trying to tell each other, hey, I see that you're trapped. This is how you can get out. This bird is like, hey, I'm fucking trapped. How do I get out? And it's going to be up to you to really decide, like, okay, cool, I'm in this space where I feel, especially emotionally, this is in the space of water. You guys feel hella trapped. You guys feel like there's hella shit going on either in your love life or in your emotional space where you are distracted. Straight up, you guys are seeing other things. You're noticing a lot of shit. Hell, even though it's quarantine, summer's still around the corner. It's still sundress season. So, I mean, some of you guys might just be distracted by work or by external circumstances. But some of you truly are in a space where you are delayed in a certain project or with a certain person or in a space in your life because you are not willing to let go of your idea of beauty, of your idea of perfection, and it fucks you up. I spent all that time to say that. Y'all Geminis, y'all like to talk a lot, so in the space of air, you have the Ten of Air card. I get so sad when I see this card because it means to me that some of y'all are dealing with some depression. Some of you guys are really dealing with some psychological childhood shit. I don't know if you guys got this card last month. I know a lot of my readings have been getting this card, personal and on YouTube. And I think a lot of it has got to do with being confined in the home. I think some of us have a really hard time with isolation. I don't even think this quarantine has as much to do with it as some of us feel completely secluded. Some of us feel excluded. Some of us, I feel like a good half of us suffer from FOMO, and another half of us are really struggling with, like I said, childhood shit. Because, like, for myself, for example, like, I struggle with abandonment issues. I struggle with, having a caregiver like disappear. So it's like it's a really hard thing to be in a space right now where you're stuck in the house. There's this feeling of isolation. There's this feeling of almost like being grounded. And then on top of that, you ain't got shit but time to think about all the things that have been wrong, that could go wrong, that have gone wrong. Um, it's a lot to process. And it's funny, I read an article today because I've been having wild ass dreams. And I saw an article today that said, uh, why you're dreaming more during quarantine or some shit, or why your dreams are so vivid. And it was talking about how a lot of us are being forced to process, since we're not stimulated by our everyday activities and routines. A lot of us are having to process childhood shit. A lot of us are having to process a lot of past experiences that are trapped in our subconscious that we are unwilling to deal with when we're conscious. So for some of you, I think that there's a lot of distress mentally. I think I know that this is directly in line with, again, that idea of order, that idea of perfection, this idea of like everything has to just be like this or I'll lose my shit. That is hindering y'all. That is holding you back. It is holding you back from relationships. It's holding you back from the job you want. It's holding you back from the home that you're trying to make. It's holding you back. So get in touch with your demons. It's funny because a woman once told me, by the name of Speech, Lady Speech, once told me, you have to invite your demons for tea. And nobody is leaving until y'all have sat down and y'all have made amends and you understand each other. It's not that you have to rid the skeletons in your closet, but you do have to know which ones are there. You do have to understand where they come from, and you do have to understand how to regulate them accordingly. So I think for some of you, if you look here, this is Medusa. And she's hella sad because the reason that she was outcast was, it wasn't necessarily because she was originally out here just turning motherfuckers to stone. She was seen as one of the most beautiful. She has sisters also, and they were seen as some of the most beautiful women. But then, there's this curse, and now they're turning people to stone because they're angry. They have a lot of shit going on. So in order to protect themselves, this is what they do. You guys have a lot of triggers. You guys have a lot of shit that goes on in your head and a lot of shit that goes on in your life that you do not process, or that you compartmentalize or you internalize, but you don't actually find healing or find resolution for it. So this is basically saying you are your own casualty of the war that you have with yourself, that dualistic thinking that you have, those two twin brothers that you experience. This is all you being trapped in wanting to lead a normal life and wanting to live this extravagant, travel every day, do wild shit life. This is you being trapped between having this particular job that provides well, but it isn't necessarily your passion. Y'all got a lot to think about. And on top of that, you guys have a lot of childhood trauma to unpack and to undo. And it could be just trauma from your adolescence. It could be trauma you put yourself through, self inflicted trauma that you were unwilling to deal with. That is now time for you to reconcile in the daytime. Congratulations, Gemini. Last card out, in the place of fire. So this is cool because you have the Queen of Earth. And so with the Queen of Earth and the Empress on the board, I really do feel like you guys are just really in need of some mothering. To be honest, you guys are in need of some like strong mother energy, but not that bossy, let me tell you all about yourself, but just that like, if there's one person you could go to who will understand you and who will ride or die or have your back, it's your mom. Or there's that auntie that you have, or there's a mother figure, there's a friend you have, or someone else's mother that you have, that they just get you and they just nurture you well. Some of you are really looking for that. It's not necessarily perfection you seek, but I think maybe some of you are looking to be seen as perfect. Some of you are looking to finally be seen for who you are, and for that to be enough, for that to be perfectly beautiful, perfectly in order. I think some of y'all want to be seen as like the perfect child to like this mother, right? We all have that, we all have that desire. For some of us with strained maternal matriarchal relationships, that's hard. That's hard because I know a lot of people who struggle, especially on their maternal side, with adequacy, self-worth, things like that. I also know moms try hella fucking hard. So shout out to moms. But some of you guys, again, you just need mothering. You need that protection. You need that love that only the matriarch can give. And so for some of you, I think you guys need to get in touch with the matriarch, not only of your own family or but getting in touch with the idea of a matriarch and what it is you want to do if you're a woman, what that is, a person with a vagina, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna be as politically correct as possible because I love everybody. If you are non-binary, if you are fluid, whatever, but you identify with being the matriarch of your lineage, what would that look like for you? What would that look like for you? What would it look like for you to be the leader that you needed? What would it look like for you to be the mother that you needed? What would it look like for you to be the daughter that you always saw yourself as? Gemini, y'all going through a lot. Y'all are all over the board, per usual. But I think this is, to wrap it up, this is basically just, again, a call from within yourself to get more in touch with yourself. This is a call for you to understand how sometimes your overthinking of things and your need for things to be exactly perfect hinders you, and it blocks you actually from living the life that would be best suited for you. So don't get too caught up, Gemini. Ooh, Lord, excuse me. Don't get too caught up, Gemini, in the idea of perfection, because again, at the end of the day, it's subjective and it's just an idea. For you, perfection is going to look like trash for someone else, and vice versa. So live your very, very best life, my sweet little Geminis. My Gemini win, and I will see y'all later.